back to the life of the Caesars, Ray Johnson Harris.
Thank you.
Ray Johnson? Ray...
Fresh meat. Just call me fresh meat.
Big
It's
Dick
fine.
Harris. Fresh meat. This is Vitellius 20.
Right.
And the last of the Vitellius episodes, I think.
Sadly, yes.
Sadly. Well, maybe this one and the next one. I don't know. We'll see what happens.
Right.
In our last episode, a lot of bad shit went down. There was the sort of an attack on Rome, burning of a temple, the violent death of Flavius Sabinus, the collapse of the deal that had been brokered between Vitellius and the Flavian people that he was negotiating with, when he decided, you know what, maybe should I? No, I'll go. Oh no, I'm staying. I'm staying. Right?
Yeah,
no,
I'll
go. Right. No, stay. Go.
Surprise!
It's all too hard.
Yeah. Yes.
It's all too hard.
Exactly.
So I think where we ended last time is Vitellius reached out to Antonius and said, "Look, can I get a couple of days of respite here? Got a few things.
Right.
Got a few.
Right.
I had my suitcases packed. I unpacked them. Now I need to it's confusing.
Looking for the passport. I can't. Damn it! It was in this toga. I'm going to need a couple. Here's what got me. There were several deputations that were sent to Antonius, but when you send the Vestal Virgins out and the Flavians go, fuck you, and knowing they're talking to Vestal Virgins, you know you're not going to get a peace deal. You know you're not going to get a delay. You know you're not going to get a reprieve. This war is not over, to my mind.
Good move, though, sending virgins.
Yeah, because what do? You could be mean to virgins? That's not...
Yeah,
cool.
like they've got enough problems. You can't be.
Or are they the most serene motherfuckers you've ever? I don't know. I don't know the answer to that.
No.
They're very
tense. Met a nun? I mean, nuns are the unhappiest people on earth, man.
They like to hit you with rulers. Yeah, the nuns are getting none.
Yeah, they're just pissy and not allowed to touch the bean. Not allowed to let anyone else touch the bean. Like it's
tough being a nun.
Up.
They're the Rodney Dangerfield of priests. It's tough being a nun, I tell you.
I don't get no respect.
Or dick. Sorry, I shouldn't have.
I was listening to. I tried to get Fox to watch an old Adam Sandler movie, Big Daddy, yesterday.
Oh yeah.
And the opening of the film, he's on the phone to his father, who's berating him for being lazy. And you just hear the voiceover. And I thought, is that Dangerfield? It sounded like it was Dangerfield doing his father, but I didn't get a chance to look it up.
Oh. Well,
but I miss Dangerfield.
Yes. Caddyshack. He was amazing.
Hey.
Anyway.
I don't get no respect. I remember hearing, I think it was Jim Carrey years ago being interviewed and talking about when he first moved to LA to try to break into comedy. Dangerfield was sort of his mentor, took him aside and, gave him a lot of tips and helped him get on his feet when he was 17 or 18 or something, trying to break into the scene from Canada, where he came from. Back to Antonius. So Antonius did not agree to. He's a bit like Vladimir Putin at the moment. Remember when remember in Trump's campaign, he said the war in Ukraine would end on day one that he got elected.
Day one, bitches. Yeah.
He's now in month 4, and now that he's done a minerals deal with Zelensky,
right?
He's trying to pressure Putin into taking some sort of a bad peace deal, and Putin's like, "Yeah, I don't think so." And now Trump's just calling him crazy. It's not going well. It's a bit like that. Antonius did try and calm his troops down, though.
Yeah,
his troops wanted to just go Vestadio on all of Rome.
Right.
Remember, it's not his troops that are actually in Rome. Well, it's one of his divisions that sort of took the initiative and started causing some shit in the old hometown. But he does manage to convince his troops to hold off overnight. Look, it's better to go in. If you're going to go to Rome, he can't stop them. They're chomping at the bit. Better to go on a full stomach, good night's sleep. Don't go to Rome half-cocked. Go full-cocked. If you're going to do anything, go full-cocked. Don't go half-cocked.
My mama, she always go full-cocked.
Look,
she always.
You have a hard enough problem as it is convincing people you have a full cock. I mean, it's people are like, that's just a half a cock, and you're like, no, this is full.
Respect. I get no respect.
This is fully erect.
It's full to me.
Talking about?
It's full to me.
Yeah.
It's all relative. It's like science.
Should have seen it before the surgery.
Oh my God.
They camp about 3 miles north of the Milvian Bridge. He parades them. He's trying to keep them busy. You know what it's like.
Busy work.
These guys want blood. He
They
planned for them to enter Rome on the 21st of December, which would have given Vitellius the pause that he asked for. However, his troops are suspicious at any pause. What's going on? And we know that, I mean, it's understandable. These guys have seen emperor replaced by emperor, replaced by emperor. They're not trusting anybody right now. They think that there's a con going on somewhere. And they're probably right. There's probably cons going on. There's deals going on, backroom deals. I mean, that's just human nature. Like, if there's one thing that I have learnt over the years is that corruption is endemic everywhere in every society at every time. There's always psychopaths. There's always corrupt individuals that are trying to make a backroom deal whenever there's an opportunity. So I don't blame his troops for being suspicious.
No, not only that, not only are they chomping at the bit, like you said, because they had like 2 jobs, and one of them was to save Vespasian's brother. They didn't do that, so they're looking to kick ass and chew bubble gum. The other thing is that they're hearing information. They don't know what to believe. They don't know what to trust. Are there Vitellian troops at the Milvian Bridge? Are there not? Are they professional soldiers? Or are they just rabble-rousers with weapons? Because we heard he passed them out like candy. So again, you're right. It's just a very fluid situation. But I'll tell you what handles a fluid situation: a sword through the gut. You know where you stand, on either end, really. And these guys are just wanting to end whatever questions there are by killing everybody in front of them. And that's a soldier's response to problems.
So Vitellius had civilians armed and stationed themselves sort of on the border of Rome, just on the other side of where the Milvian Bridge was. For whatever reason, Antonius's troops see these guys, think that they're actually the front line of a much bigger force that Vitellius has got that's protecting Rome. He's supposed to be stepping down. He's supposed to be walking away. That was the deal.
Nope.
Now Flavius Sabinus is dead. Domitian is missing. They don't know what's happened to Domitian, the son of Vespasian. And they think there's some sort of corruption going on. That's why they're being held back. Anyway, they basically can't be held back, and they just decide to go and attack the fuck out of Rome. The Milvian Bridge is fairly narrow, and it was being successfully held by these Vitellian civilians. So the Antonius's cavalry crossed the Tiber, which was fairly shallow despite some recent rain, and they take the defenders in the rear, which is fun if you're in prison, or if you've been. As we've said many times, look, if you're going to get taken in the rear, you need some time to limber up. You need to do some stretching exercises first.
Kegels?
Do some squats.
Is that right? I don't know.
Kegels, yeah.
Kegels, I don't.
You need to be lubed up. it's not something you want to rush into. Slowly,
No,
gently.
you don't want to be rushed into. Right.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
Particularly if somebody's coming at you not half cocked. If they're coming half cocked, maybe you can
like
speed
pushing
it up a
rope.
little bit. But if they're coming fully cocked, no, you don't want to rush that.
No. And I've learned this the hard way, mostly in Vegas. Don't brace. Never brace.
Never brace.
Anyway,
relax. Fully relax. Yeah.
Yeah. No, but you're right, because I think it's fair to say that the Antonius's men are the superior troops, but a bridge, this is military 101, a bridge negates your numbers because you can only put so many, people facing them at one time. So, but you're right. Fortunately, the Tiber was, calm. They were able to get around. So they've cleared the bridge. They've cleared the civilians or whatever other troops near the bridge. So they're going to get access to Rome. But this is just going because Rome is a very large place. There's Vitellian troops all over the place. And they know if they lose, they're probably going to die after taking it from the rear. So the point is they are, to whatever degree, motivated to fight back, even though they are fighting within Rome. So things don't look good for them right now.
Oh, I'm hard. Hard. I'm going to need a moment. Okay, hold on. Okay, go ahead.
Okay, can I just, for officially, for those of you who don't remember the origin story of that sound clip, that was me pretending to smoke a blunt, not enjoying myself or trying to get over pleasuring myself, which I do several times a show. That's not anyways, I don't know if that's important or not, but it's kind of out of context. Go ahead.
So the civilian militia were quickly swept aside, and by late morning, the Flavian army was on the outskirts of Rome, and they were divided into three sections. One column just went straight down the Via Flaminia. Another one went down the banks of the Tiber, passing by the mausoleum of Augustus, where you and I were standing about 7 years ago. Before it was open to the public. We haven't been back to Rome since it's open to the public.
Yeah.
We got to go back. The third division turned left and moved towards the Praetorian barracks.
Yeah, it's got to be handled.
When the fighting was happening outside of the city, they mostly favored the Flavians, but when it got into the city streets, the Flavians were being pelted with tiles from rooftops, and the civilian militia and whatever was left of Vitellius's army are hiding around corners. They've dug themselves in. As we know, fighting inside of cities is treacherous. Your cavalry can't operate. Your testudo is not really very effective going down a street. Yeah. Typical Roman military tactics break down a lot when you're in the middle. They're not designed for being in the middle of a built-up city like Rome. They're designed to be out in a field, in a valley, laying siege to a town, not fighting street to street of a major metropolis like Rome was then. But the bit I love most about this story is that the civilians seem to think it was just great entertainment.
Look, it's Christmas time. Come, it's Saturnalia. They're going to have fun.
Got this section from Tacitus, which is great. He says, the populace stood by and watched the combatants, and, as though it had been a mimic conflict, encouraged first one party and then the other by their shouts and plaudits. Whenever either side gave way, they cried out that those who concealed themselves in the shops or took refuge in any private house should be dragged out and butchered, and they secured the larger share of the booty, for, while the soldiers were busy with bloodshed and massacre, the spoils fell to the crowd. It was a terrible and hideous sight that presented itself throughout the city. Here raged battle and death, there the bath and the tavern were crowded. In one spot were pools of blood and heaps of corpses, and close by prostitutes and men of character as infamous. There were all the debaucheries of luxurious peace, all the horrors of a city most cruelly sacked, till one was ready to believe the country to be mad at once with rage and lust. It was not, indeed, the first time that armed troops had fought within the city. They had done so twice when Sulla, once when Cinna triumphed. The bloodshed then had not been less, but now there was an unnatural recklessness, and men's pleasures were not interrupted even for a moment. As if it were a new delight added to their holidays, they exulted in and enjoyed the scene, indifferent to parties and rejoicing over the sufferings of the Commonwealth. He makes it sound like people were fucking whilst looking out the windows, going, yeah, kill him, oh, yeah, kill him, oh, I'm so hard right now. I mean, I think I have a clip of this.
I'm hard.